Good morning, friends. I'm just leaving the crib for a very fun day. I get to hang out with the king, Rtr Petty, today. I'm heading to his shop where they built the motor for the Mustang Rtr Spec 5 that Mala is giving away. I'm gonna go check out his facility, hang out, then he's gonna come to the RTR lab. Might even take him for a rip, and yeah, then we may go hang out afterwards. Who knows where it'll go, but I'm pumped. What an honor to go hang out. I can't wait to hear some of his stories. He's such a good dude. I've got to spend some time with him in the past, but having a full day with him and the Mala team. So let's get to it. Oh, you know, I had to floss with the RTR Series 1. So we're gonna go and take a rip ski. If I learn how to start it. Oh, somebody changed it to purple. Chelsea must have been in here. You changing my colors, bro? Interesting. So then you just went to 43?
There's Richard as a kid right there. I love this effect.
I love.
This is like, yeah.
This is like heyday NASCAR. Hey, what's happening, man? Nice to see you.
Sure, man.
Awesome to be at your spot.
Got everything going here, huh?
Yeah, man, for sure. King, how are
You had to
you?
bring him. King, good to see you. Glad to see you guys out. Glad to be out.
Glad to be out and about. Not mine.
Good to be here. Think about it.
That's for sure.
Where are you from originally?
Maryland. Yeah, just from Baltimore. We just moved down here in August. My family and I went to Concord. I just going to Traders on shop.
Is that right?
Yeah. He had a bunch of stuff. It took him forever to get it out.
That's how long it's been accumulating.
Yeah, he kept it all too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like, to this point, just stuff that you didn't say, you just accumulated.
Yeah. I was glad to experience it because it made me realize I don't want to keep everything. I do not want to keep everything.
Right now, you get to be 80 years old. You got 3 kids and grandkids. They want part of granddaddy and all that crap.
That's an interesting perspective.
And then you just find some cubicles like you got out back.
Yeah.
Just
Throw it in there.
Throw it in there.
Interesting. That's a good perspective.
I guess I'm glad that I didn't think about that stuff when I was younger. I could fill up all these 50 acres.
Yeah.
I just got buried back there. Got buildings on top of stuff. And then just when no place to go, you just throw it out back. Build some buildings, just walk off dirty. Just build buildings. Cars, motors, rear ends, wheels. You know, stuff that was no good then, they do cement now.
Yeah, right? Yeah. That's an interesting perspective.
They do old cars, old race cars and stuff. Man, if you had that stuff, sitting on the road.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what happened in the future, that's what that means.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. This is cool. I've never been out here. Is that fire station is number 43? Is that after you? I thought that was incredible to see that.
There's 18 fire stations in Randolph County.
Okay.
That's number 43.
Okay. Got it. Now I got it. Yeah. Answer's yes. That was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, we got the same thing. We got a place on the lake, basin, and a lot, not a lot, but pier was number 43. And I don't know, we were sitting there with 250s on each side or something
Right,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it's 43.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's been there a long time.
How did you get that number? I'm curious about that. I saw your dad's car is 42,
42.
so just from
We just
that,
followed through.
you're next.
And then
Got it.
My brother used to run from time to time, and we had some other drivers. A lot of times they used number 41. Pete Hamilton drove number 44. Kyle came through and he went to 44. Adam came through and he's 45, and I got a grandson now that's number 46. So my dad just started the 42, and he got that off the license plate. I mean, the guy come to paint the number on the side of the race car, and so what number? I don't know. Get a couple numbers off that license plate out there.
That's it.
I mean, that's how sophisticated it was. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we really had a reason for doing it.
Sure.
You know? I think the first race car he had, when NASCAR first started in '49, the first race they had, he had old Buick, and the number was 38. Now, where he got that, I don't know. Where they signed it when he got there or what. But,
Yeah.
and then after that, it was always 42.
Okay. Interesting.
That's history.
Yeah.
This place here, like, we got the original floor from 1949. When NASCAR first started, my dad was doing the very first race. So we've been racing out of here since 1949.
Is this still where the team runs out of?
We 10, 12 years ago, we moved. All the stuff got so technical.
Yeah.
It was hard to get technical people come to the crossing.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
we had to go where the technical people.
Yeah.
Okay, because we was just sort of off on another planet.
Sure.
And back when they done it with people just done it, you thought it up in their mind, just went and done it. Then we was as good as anybody on that. So when they started bringing money in, bringing technology and stuff,
Yeah.
we just
That makes sense.
They just went right.
Yeah, and those people don't want to drive out here. You need to go back.
I mean,
But you've always stayed out here, right? You still are out here, right?
I live about a mile through the woods right here.
Oh, really?
I was born in this house up here.
I read that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And all over the world ain't went very far.
Yeah, right. Hey, home is home, man.
No,
I
I'm like a homing
understand
I'm like a homing pigeon. I guess that's what it is. Have you walked through any?
I haven't really. No, I just saw the guns.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen the
You a
cars.
gun man?
A little bit. Not quite as much a gun man as you are.
Like I tell them, it's a deal where I got caught on guns. You know what I mean? And then the first thing you know, you just accumulate that kind of crap.
Yeah.
It's not that you're trying to do anything with it. It's not a collection, it's accumulation.
Sure.
And everything in here is accumulation instead of a collection.
Well, it's cool if you let people come and see it.
We've got this side here, and then we got, this is more like a pity side.
Okay.
And then over there, there's more race cars and trophies. And
Oh, okay.
more of the racing part of it.
Got it.
Because we've got part of my wife's stuff, and we've got some of my dad's stuff in here. And then
We got 10 championships there, King. Vaughn,
you know,
you got a few more
I've
to
only
go.
got 2.
You got a few more to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, you got plenty of time.
I got a little bit.
I told him in 30 years I'll be going to the Vaughn Gittin Museum and seeing cars and everything.
Do that too.
Yeah.
Hey, with this car, so would this have literally started as a car off the showroom floor from like a dealer?
It's 92 miles. Now it was built with a stock body.
Okay.
And then you modify everything around it. It was
Got it.
still a pretty stock car. Stock
Okay.
bumpers, grills, fenders.
Obviously, you pull the fenders.
And you modified it with big wheels. So it's a modified stock car.
Did they have templates and stuff like they do now for them?
They had a couple of three that they give you a half inch on it so you could just do everything. You know,
Okay.
so, now they got laser. You're 10,000 off here, you think.
Okay.
If you put too much paint on one side, you got
It's coming down.
yeah, and you ain't got enough that little Bondo.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Still winds up being the same. No matter what the rules are, your game and anybody else, there's winners and then there's the rest of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if they change the rules, the guys that's been winning is still winning.
Right.
You know, if they took everything away and took the back cars and give it to the front runner, took the front car and give it to the back runner, within a week, these switch cars.
Right.
Because of the knowledge and the money behind it and all that.
Sure. That's motorsport.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Racing, yeah.
You know, it's in any sport or any business.
Yeah.
Football team or baseball team, same thing.
I agree with that.
It goes through. Like right now, Hendricks crowd is really up there. Like last year, it was somebody else. The year before that, it was somebody else.
Yeah.
We had a couple of big years. You know,
Yeah.
nobody could really invest in it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're not doing anything. How to do it? Somebody's done went past you. What he said was me. Yeah, I got to work your way back up there again.
Yeah.
That's just
Slow signals and
That's for sure.
Then Declaration of Independence and all that crap, Constitution, all that was done on July the 2nd, not the 4th.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
then it took them that long to print them up to get it to the public. It took a couple of days.
How about that?
All of it.
All American.
Holy crap. No belts?
Yeah, they had a belt in it.
Just a waist
Waist
belt?
belt's all you had. Nothing to keep you from sliding over in the car and doing that.
bunch of sissies now.
But they run a lot. You didn't really run fast enough to have a lot of G-force.
Right.
It was probably 64. We'd already put a deal in to keep them sliding over. It was 64 before going to Daytona with them Henrys. They were finding they had so much G-force that when you went to the corner, you had to hold on the steering wheel. And then you finally wound up fixing something to keep you from sliding over.
Got it.
Just like that, just a stock seat. And had that.
Oh my gosh.
Just to keep you from sliding over.
That's amazing. Yeah, because there's no race seats built back then.
That was that was a racing seat.
Yeah.
And then they just every year you made it a little bit better. You had it wrecked, broke something, fixed it a little bit.
So you had two shocks on the back each side. Interesting.
Yeah.
And they were probably just off the shelf.
No, they were racing shocks.
They were? Okay.
But the deal were they were oil shocks, and after a while they get weak.
Yeah. So you had to put two.
Yeah, so you put two on there to make it too stiff
Mid-race,
to begin-
you'd be all right.
Stiff to begin with, but once they both warmed up, then if you just had one, it'd get too loose.
You're right. It'd be all floaty. Yeah.
The shock wasn't working.
I was here at Goodwood with you in that car right there. 2014, I was there.
We've been over it 4 times.
Yeah, I've run into you a couple times.
5 or 6 times.
That's a great
You
event.
just in the car.
Yeah, that's a great event.
That's a great event.
Yeah.
People are everywhere. And the music.
Gunnar, look what I found today from your favorite movie, Mrs. King and Mr. King. And here's the real King. He'll love that.
All the kids don't know Rtr Petty, but they know Mr. the King. I mean,
Were you the voice in that too? It was your voice?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's how we got involved, and that's how my wife got involved. We went out to do the voiceover, and the guy that was doing it said, "Would you like to be in the movie?" I said, "Oh, you know, whatever. What would you like to be?" She said, "I want to be a station wagon." She used to have it.
She said she wanted to be a station
Yeah,
wagon?
because she was a 4-door. We used to have 4-door cars, and she feed the crew and everybody, the kids out of the trunk. All of a sudden, she got a station wagon. She could fix all the food. You know, the kids had plenty of time room. Thought she died on the head when she got the station wagon. So. And that's the original one that we had.
Oh, okay.
We had it, and then it,
Wait, this is actual one of yours?
well, this was one of my cars, one of her cars.
Okay.
And then we sold it to some people in around the town, the next town down, and then they all died off, and the daughters had the thing sitting in the garage for 20 years, so we just went and bought it back.
Oh.
And then the
Did
boys
this one
here,
it?
the boys in P's garage converted. They got the blueprints and stuff from their Cars movie and fixed it just exactly like what it
that's
showed in
cool.
the Cars movie.
That's really
Got the
cool.
nose on it.
Yeah,
Had
that's
to
really
redo
cool.
the nose. Do the hood caps and made that.
Mrs. the King, I love that. That's cool. This racing seat is unbelievable to me. Look at this. This is what used to hold him from the G-forces. That's just crazy.
Keep you from falling out of it. Just before they had nets and anything.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be hanging out, waving to the fans, going
Yeah.
around turn.
That's what happened in 1970. I had a wreck at Darlington, and the car kept turning over, and I kept waving at the crowd.
When it's flipping, you mean?
Turned over 6 or 7 times.
Oh, and your hands were just flying
Yeah,
out.
and after that, they made a record net.
After that crash?
Yeah. I think we'd run it once or twice at Riverside because they run backwards out there. And so anyhow, we just started using it all together.
Man, these are the coolest stock cars.
Simple deal.
Yeah.
You had steering wheel, a motor, and 4-wheel.
Yeah.
And now that's just secondary.
Sure.
We got all this electronic, all the electronic dash. It don't make the car any better. It makes it more expensive. Don't
That's
make
interesting
and it
perspective.
and it don't make the racing any better.
Right.
You know, it just makes it more expensive.
But it
So
probably
you-
helps them control a little better though, right?
Why? If everybody's on the same boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't, I mean, we had no radios, had no communications with the pit crew. They done their thing, we done our thing.
How'd you know? How'd they know when you were coming to pit? You just show up?
I worked with him so long, we thought on the same line.
Same, just connected.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
it just happened to be.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, I understand that.
He understood when the car slowed down, I could give him a signal and stuff, and he'd figure it all out. Or I'd give him a signal that I needed something, fix it right up.
Really?
That car won Daytona in '66, and I think eight other races that year. In '67, we converted that to a '67. Won 27 races that year. Ran the car 4 times in '68 and won 2 of the races. That's how many wins that one car had.
So what kind of stuff were you doing to this car to make it win races? Right, it's got motors, got horsepower, right? But what were you doing like suspension and chassis wise?
See, this deal here had the Hemi engine, had torsion bars and straight springs in the rear.
Okay.
So that was, to us, we grew up with that. So it was a perfect combination. We learned as we went. And we just got better and better and better working on the thing. And
I mean, does it even have camber and
Oh, yeah,
toe
camber,
adjustment
yeah.
and stuff on it?
Yeah, it's got-
Okay.
we did the whole deal. And you didn't have power steering, so you had to work a lot with the caster to be able to drive
To
the
turn
car.
it, yeah.
To get it to turn, but to get
To feel, yeah, to be able to have strong enough.
to be able to counter the thing.
Yeah. Use
And
the weight of the
And
car.
if you look back, the drivers at that time, all the drivers was bigger. Because they had to be, because they didn't have power steering. Now you got jockeys now.
course,
Yeah,
jockeys, yeah.
but they got the power steering and you sit in there and, well, it's not that easy, but I'm just saying.
Sure, yeah, it's way
It
easier.
took the physical strain out of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine steering this thing with no power steering around the oval. And you're still doing what, 125, 130 miles an hour in these things?
We run like 66, 69, like 168 or something.
Really?
At Daytona.
Jesus. That's
They
crazy.
finally got them up to over 200-mile-an-hour, and they said that's too fast. So
They got up to
they
200?
said-
Oh, you use
For
gear.
the Superbirds and all that stuff
Ah.
back in the day. It was 210.
And I said it was too fast?
Well, yeah, it was too fast when you hit something.
Right.
It's the immediate stop that's the problem.
Now, could you feel the difference between 205 miles an hour and 195?
And the reason being was you went from 195 to 205. And when they did that, the cars were better, the tires were better, so you couldn't tell the difference between 150 and 220.
Yeah.
Because the cars were so much better, it felt the same.
Yeah.
You mean,
Just when I thought I was okay with getting rid of all my stuff, Richard Petty has to go and drop some knowledge on me that I should keep it. Damn it.
That's called wisdom, I think.
Yeah, at this point.
So Vaughn, when does your museum open?
Yeah, probably another, let's see, Richard's 84, so another 40 years maybe? Or maybe we'll go for shoot for 30. How about that? Get it? Man, it's so cool seeing all this stuff out displayed like this. You're right. It's really cool.
see, both these buildings were racing buildings. That was kept Kyle's cars over there. And then when they got technology, they had a bunch of computers and crap. And we built cars in here. Got surface plates and all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then after a while, then we just used it as a build-up shop. And we'd come in here and refurbish the cars, and then we build them again. Every building here has been 3 or 4 different things. It was built for one thing, and then we'd move that and move something else in. And the engine rooms moved 1, 2, 3. It moved 5 times. Started up on the hill.
So it all started from the Reaper garage
from the
and then
Reaper-
just
from the
evolved
Reaper
out.
ship. And then,
Wow.
yeah, that's the way it was.
Model T.
Yeah, my dad, the reason my dad bought that, he said he used to date my mom, and that's the kind of car he couldn't see her. So he had to have one. Went drag racing.
Yeah, what is this hot rod?
In 65, they outlawed the Henny engine.
In NASCAR?
In NASCAR. So for about 6 months, we went drag racing.
Really? They outlawed it, why? Because you guys were too fast?
Yeah, it's outrunning everybody with it. So they said you can't run it anymore. And then about the middle of the year, there wasn't nothing but Fords running. So the crowds kept going away. So they let us run anything from a mile below. And figured that speed, horsepower wasn't that important on a smaller track.
Right.
More handling.
So you can only run short
Yeah,
tracks.
right. And I think we ran 14 races that year. And I think we didn't win before, because we've been out of the system for a while.
Got it. So what is that? Is that a Barracuda? I think is that short? Is that a tube chassis car? No. It looks like is the wheelbase shortened on this?
I don't think it was.
No? Okay.
It might be. Yeah, it probably was a little bit. Yes, definitely was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it really shows your.
Yeah. Okay.
You just cut the quarter pound off of it, because it's all metal car.
Okay.
No plastic, none of that stuff. This is like the first race car I started. My dad had run it one day with a top on it, and undo both the top, and I'd run convertible races with it.
Oh my
The next
God.
week,
And this is your hood latch?
Oh, yeah.
That's just for easy access?
Yeah, that didn't last long. They probably had to put all kinds of stuff on to hold them down. But like I say, they were stock. That bumper must have weighed 300 pounds.
I bet.
You could hit something with that and just keep on going. But these was kind of tires we used to run on dirt tracks. And then when they run the dirt track race at Bristol, they come with a different tire.
Oh, I see. Dang.
A lot of difference. man.
Yeah, you can see how
Oh, man,
much
look
more
how
groove
wide
there
it
is.
And circumference of it's a little bit different too.
Yeah. Interesting. So did you guys build most of the motors that you race with?
Yeah,
all of them out of here.
My brother built them all.
Really?
We had 268 NASCAR wins went right through that gate out
Wow.
of this one shop.
Wow. That's really cool.
Six different drivers.
That's really cool.
That was my, you hear about people going out in the blaze of glory.
Yeah.
I just went out in the blaze.
Oh, dang! So that's your last.
Yeah,
that was your last
That
lap.
was the last race, yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
We got in a wreck. There was three or four of us running around and run into each other. I don't know whose fault it was. It just happened.
Yeah.
No racing accident.
I love that you're still driving that.
Yeah, that's 1992. That was a 92 car.
Okay.
You can see the seats and all that stuff are so. And now they've got them sitting in a capsule.
Yep.
You know, they got them to sit down, and they're like deers. All they can do is stay straight ahead.
Yeah, you got the
you-
protection.
Right.
Yeah, those are serious seats that they got in those cars now.
Yeah, I don't know if I could be. I don't know if I would. Well, if I grew up in it, I wouldn't know no better. But I couldn't get in the car now and let a spotter tell me when to turn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the good drivers don't even look; they know.
Where you feel it.
You feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like them guys that run modified cars with the wings and stuff.
Yeah.
They got no mirrors and
Yeah.
nothing, and they don't cut each other off. They know where the
You
guys
feel
are.
it. You feel the presence.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
it. Right.
It's just an extension of
They
it.
got- The winners feel it.
Yeah.
The losers don't.
Right.
You know?
No,
Yeah,
that's.
this is one of the cars we took over to Goodwood. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I had a Hot Wheels of this one.
This is some of the Adam stuff where he started in the go-karts. And went to those cars, then these cars, and then to cut stuff.
Oh, your old helmets. You did keep everything, huh?
This is the kind of stuff we do now.
Oh, you guys build hot rods like this now too? Oh, cool.
That whole front come off a flat piece of metal. They build it. I mean, all that's homemade. Handmade.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. That's some art right there, man.
That's a wicked piece there.
Yes, it is.
Don't make the mistake of thinking King's not involved in those.
Yeah.
When he'll walk by and see something that says, that's not right.
Yeah, I'm bad about that.
I've heard that.
They try to keep me out of here as much as they can.
Do they?
He'll have $150,000 in this thing time they're through.
Oh, I'm sure. I see every bit of it too.
It's a homemade chassis, the whole deal. you know.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were doing this level of builds.
And then we'll go back and build up two models on it, you know, to make any difference.
Oh, what is this hot rod? Look at that intake manifold. Holy crap.
Yeah. That's a wedge engine, but it's in a convertible. It's not, I don't think there was 6 or 8 ever made like that.
Oh, really?
With that engine with carburetors and all. So it's a collectible. Still building, rebuild old race cars and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it works out good because most of the race cars they bring in here, we've got a car somewhere. We have, you know, that
To
model,
match it up,
that
you can
model,
measure it.
so we can go and put it side by side and measure, make sure the bolts is in the right place.
Yeah.
Paint the job's right.
So you guys take on restoration projects
Oh, yeah,
like that?
yeah. We do a lot of that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Their warehouse up the road probably got 40 old race cars in it. You know,
Oh, really?
Just different models. And
Yeah.
different deals. Then every once in a while we'll get them out and redo them, put them in the museum, take some of these and put up there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see. I had no idea you guys were That's a legit serious build. So someone just comes with an idea and says, "Hey, I got this."
They come with it.
Yeah. And you guys do the design and present to them
Well,
what?
so, you know, what in their vision, what do they see?
Yeah.
And then what happens, once you kind of see what they're doing, then you start suggesting things, showing them pictures, say, what if we do this and that? You mean, it's sort of like giving them a Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Sure.
They pick out one thing on this page, a couple things on
Sure.
that page. You know,
Yeah, that's cool. Making their dreams come to life. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Is this where the car that we just built together with Mala, is this where that engine would have been built?
Yeah, it was been built here. We got a chassis, a regular dyno back here.
Okay.
We got the engine, and then we got two chassis dynos. And then some regular backups in the car just wants you to have a horsepower.
Yeah. Throw it on.
That bragging deal.
Yeah.
And then also, once we run them in here, on the regular dyno, we like to put them in there to see how much they lose in the transition.
So the car we just built, the motor we sent, Richard and his team was built here. They built the Coyote
Everything was built here.
for 1,000 horsepower. Look, right here.
Yeah. There was 1,000 horsepower.
Boom. I can see. I know we got some Mala pistons here.
That should be one day.
Yeah. Right out of the box. The good stuff.
Absolutely. Hemi design, looks like.
Is it Hemi? You say it's a Hemi?
Because you got valve on both sides.
This is John. He's really smart.
What kind of treatments you have?
That's the, actually you've got three different coatings here. You've got this, on the skirt is a anti-friction, like a graphite emulsion applied and baked. In the ring grooves, you've got a hard anodizing that prevents micro welding of the ring to the aluminum of the bottom flank of the piston groove. Because now you're getting so much heat and high pressure that that steel ring will actually start pulling chunks of aluminum off that bottom flank. So if you anodize it, it protects it from that happening. And then the whole piston is treated in an aluminum phosphate. It's an immersion process, so you see where there were air pockets when it goes down. But the benefit here is you get some lubrication in the pin bore, and it also is a conservative medium for the rest of the machine surfaces.
They just run the engine so much hotter now than we used to.
Yep.
I mean, they run these racing engines at 280 degrees.
Yep. Well,
All day long.
All day long.
Yeah.
and
You
think,
need, look at that. The water and stuff's all compressed. In other words, we just run regular caps and stuff, and it's got 212. It's already coming out.
Yeah.
They start at 260, 280. It stays that. So all this stuff has to be so much better than it was with the Hemis and stuff we used to have.
well, and if you think about it in the real world, think about the change in the power density of engines. You look back 20 or 30 years ago to a small block Chevy that produced 200 horsepower with a 350 or a 5.7 liter. Now you've got 2-liter engines producing over 300 horsepower,
Yeah.
pretty common. So there's no magic there. It's burning fuel, and so it takes higher pressures, higher temperatures, and
More air, more fuel, more heat. Right?
the innovation. How do you manage it?
Yeah. More power.
It all works together.
It's not just the pistons, it's the gaskets.
It's everything.
They take a beating. So if you look at the technology difference in gasket technology from then and now, that's why we're running pretty much everything with multi-layered steel head gaskets.
Yeah.
So it's really the engineering and the innovation behind what it takes to get that kind of power out of it, not only in race engines, but on the road.
See, as they develop better stuff, they get more horsepower.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff we had like 10, 15 years ago, it couldn't stand 1,000 horsepower.
No, right.
It just, everything would disintegrate because it wasn't built for that. Now they start building stuff for that.
Yeah.
And you take these 700, 800 horsepower engines, they start off at 400 horsepower and they get to 80, and then you get them to 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000
And the handle are
horsepower.
reliable.
Yeah, 426 cubic inches. And, and this is on road gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fill her up and go down the road. It's not
fuel or any of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Look at the Dodge Demon, over 800 horsepower.
Right, to begin with.
And it's got a
Yeah.
factory warranty, and it's it's drivable, it meets emissions, and it's got it's packed full of MOLLE components.
See, that's what happens here is when these guys come in, they want 1,000 horsepower. Okay, we come up here and build the engine, but then we've got to go back to the car and work on the transmission, the rear end, drive line, axles, all that, to be able to handle that horsepower.
Sure.
Because if you throw 1,000 horsepower in the regular deal, you strip it out between here and the road.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's been impressive. We run 900 horsepower naturally aspirated RY45s, but we also run a 300 shot of nitrous on them,
Okay.
fully controlled based on demand. And the last few years, we pulled our MOLLE pistons out, and our engine builder said we could run them another year, which is crazy with all that abuse. I mean, obviously we change them out just for precautionary, but to have an engine builder tell us we could run them again, we never had that. We never had that.
That nitrous crap you put in there would be really hard on that stuff.
Yeah, it's very hot, creates a little softness here.
That's what I'm saying, it's got to get hotter in order to produce
Again,
horsepower.
there's no magic. You got to burn more fuel and it takes more air and more
Yeah.
pressure, and it makes life hard.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, you guys are doing it.
All right, guys.
So this is a car that we collaborated with Richard and his team on to build that's getting given away. So this is the Mustang Rtr Spec 5 that we teamed up with Richard Petty and his team at Petty's Garage. They built the Coyote, so they took the motor out, upfitted with all MOLLE components. Makes the target was 1,000 horsepower, which we're on the dyno. We'll see. I don't know what fuel's in it right now, but that was the target. I'm told it happened, and I drove it. It's incredible. John, you've been having fun with this thing.
It is incredible. I cannot deny it.
When I saw him today, he's like, I'm really glad I've had it for all this time. They had it a little bit longer than expected because of obviously the situation of last year, but it's going to get given away this year. It's part of the Choice of Champions sweepstakes where you can choose either this or another vehicle that Casey Curry built. You can pick the low and sleek Mustang or the jacked up off-road machine. But how are people entering to win the Choice of Champions?
Okay, well, we've not kicked the contest off just yet because it's actually going to be a giveaway during the Apex show of 2022.
Okay.
So we'll start the campaign where the technician, every $100 worth of MOLLE products they buy, they register online for an entry. So if they can buy $100 worth of filters, or maybe they buy one of our AC recovery machines that's $4,000, so they'll get them 40 entries. So
Okay.
Anyway, so it goes into a drawing, and we'll send 4 finalists and their significant other, or whoever they want to bring, to Las Vegas for the giveaway. And like we've done in the past, the winner will pull a key from the king's hat.
I can do that.
Oh, cool.
And somebody, only one key will start the engine and or sound the buzzer because of some rules there in Las Vegas, but somebody will leave there pretty happy.
Very cool.
I know our crowd had a lot of fun messing with y'all, trying to figure out what they wanted and how much difference there was. So the guys at Petty's Garage come up with some ideas, y'all come up with some ideas, and this is what come out. So I think all of us can be real proud of it.
Right. So we chose the Choice of Champions theme. So champions like yourself on choose MOLLE products. So the winner gets to choose, like you said, either the Mustang or the Jeep truck. So it's truly a choice, and we're excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, free car or Jeep and a trip to Vegas. So technicians, pay attention, make the right choice. Were you driving that car earlier? I think I saw you driving. I did, I saw you
Lean
driving.
back, one paw on the wheel.
Oh yeah, champion.
Ready.
I'm so pumped for everybody to be able to finally see this. This is for us a very special build. I mean, I got to team up with freaking Richard Petty to build this car. Him and his team at Petty Garage took the Coyote out, put Mile Motorsport pistons, rings, and legendary Clevite bearings in it. The target was to make 1,000 horsepower. When we calibrated it, we saw the numbers we wanted to see, but we're going to run it again here in a minute. So let's let them get to it. Was it you driving?
I wasn't riding them. I wasn't driving.
So we just did, Richard, I think we just did 670 horsepower, 540-ish foot-pounds of torque on pump gas. You built the motor, your team built the motor to handle 1,000 horsepower. We also have an E85 tune for the car. You put E85 in it, and we saw low 800. So we're right there. We're right there at that 1,000 with that 15% drivetrain loss. What was that number? We're at
789 off that 670.
Yeah, 789 at the motor. So
Pretty dang good.
well done. Always nice to hit targets, and the winner can decide if they want to run E85 or they want to run pump gas. But right now, because we got some of the sales guys driving around in it, we got it toned down a little bit.
We might have to get them two
Just kidding, guys.
Get them two different gas tanks.
There you go. Just flip the switch.
Flip the switch.
See, I like his thinking. He's still.
Oops, sorry. Step one.
Welcome to the RTR Lab, King. Okay, buddy. So, I mean, not quite as many as you, but I got two of the important ones here.
How long have you been doing it?
20 years.
Probably had more than that.
Yeah, probably. In case you didn't hear him, he said he probably had more than that in 20 years.
How often you run?
But we only do 8 events a year.
Okay, so there you go. So we used to run 40, 50 races a year.
Yeah.
So we have a few more opportunities.
Yeah, we don't have that many schedules, but still a wall to be very proud of.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah, thank you. Stuff from all over the world. This was Spain, China,
All right.
and then the rest is the U.S. So,
I think all mine come from the U.S.
yeah, not too many places race NASCAR.
The first Cup Series race I ran was in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, really?
They made me clean out of the country to start my career.
For real?
Yeah, they did. That's the only time I run outside the country, the first race I ran.
Wow. Wow.
That was the schedule, that's what we're doing.
Well, come on in. We'll go straight to business. There's just some offices in here. These are the people that actually get everything done.
Somebody beside me and me, right?
This is the start of what I'll call my museum. This is some of my favorite personal vehicles. This was the first car that effectively put RTR on the map. This is the 69 RTRX, and you'll appreciate this. The entire body is all metal except for the flares. So we trimmed all the drip rails off.
Oh yeah.
All this is all hand formed metal here. All this is hand formed metal. It's a dying art.
That's where we're good. Katie's garage. I still got 4 or 5 doors over there.
That can do metal work like that?
They take a flat sheet of metal and make whatever you do.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's a dying art. So
They
that's,
make wood, timber, top.
that's good to know. And we got the Ford GT.
Oh man, that's
So talking about technology and electronics and all that, this thing is the epitome of that. This
Yeah.
thing make anybody feel like a superhero behind the wheel.
I don't know about me.
It's unbelievable what these things can do these
It
days.
is. It is. But a T model does the same thing. It cranks up, it gets you from point A to point B.
Yeah. No,
And it's so simple, man, you could work on it.
yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And this was our first production RTR. And I don't know how much you know about it, but we basically design, engineer, manufacture kits focused only on Ford vehicles.
Yeah.
So our chin spoiler, wheels, rockers, rear spoiler. We got fully adjustable suspension under it. Really good chassis balance, fully adjustable. So this is our first production car in 2011. And this was, speaking of saving stuff, this is our first prototype. And I gave it to my dad. He passed away, and he said I had to keep it for my firstborn.
I love it.
So I'm holding on to that.
I love it. Thanks.
I'm holding on to that now. Thank you. Yeah. That's that Kona blue. And so over here, this is our RTR Vehicles Development. So these are all vehicles we're doing development on right now for new products. This is a build that we have going on for Recaro. So they're getting a full supercharger, full wide body.
Looking good.
Yeah, man. And this is a new Bronco. Have you seen a new Bronco yet?
Never.
So this is the new Bronco. This is our first prototype. We've been out in Moab, New Mexico, and a bunch of other places just doing some testing. It's really, Ford's done an amazing thing. This is our prototype grill. You can see we just 3D printed it. So it's on here for test fitting right now. This is our second iteration. There's the first one up there, up on the ceiling there.
Oh yeah, we got to change it.
Yeah, of course. And so that black car is basically getting turned into this. Yeah. So this is, you can see basically everything we design and develop, right? Wheels, wide body.
I love it.
Yeah. And so this is something we did for a project for Pep Boys. Yeah, man. So that's all RTR Vehicles. Our electric car, I really wanted to show you, but that just left to go to Festival of Speed. It's on its way to Goodwood. Yeah. But I'll bring you over here to show you the race cars. So these are exhibition cars. So these are the cars that we do ride-alongs, experiences, and they just look like the race cars. But the race cars are really where all the engineering and magic goes. So in drifting, like a lot of people see it and they just see tires spinning and cars sliding around. But we put so much grip and so much drive in these cars to make them go, to accelerate while sideways and spinning tires. So you can see these are all this stuff's designed and engineered here. Billet control arms. It allows us the exact amount of anti-squat we want, the amount, because we're controlling how hard everything, exactly.
Sideways and backwards and forward and all the deal.
Exactly. And so the entire car comes to us as a chassis tub from Ford, and then we modify it. So it's two things, right? One is lightweighting, and the other is functionality. And so
we used to get race cars that we call them bodies in white.
Bodies in white, exactly. Okay.
But see, when they came, they were unit construction.
Okay.
The chassis and the body was all one unit.
Yep.
You mean?
Yep. Well, this is exactly what this is, right? You got that, and then you get the subframe, front and rear subframe. And so we build these, one for crash repair. So in our sport, we get 5 minutes to fix our car if we get in a shunt. If not, you're out. Obviously, NASCAR usually can't fix those 200-mile-an-hour crashes. But so we have a slight crush panels that we build in. So like when we're up on the wall, if we go a little bit deep, this will fold in instead of bringing the nose of the car in. Yeah.
And that's what happens. They hit and they solid. And they get
exactly. And these just give a little bit of play. We also have these single mount taillights, so that if we get in the wall, they just fold in. This is new that one of my guys decided to do. Started saving a ton of money on taillights, I'll tell you that. We have a joke around here called a bumper budget. So when we blow our bumpers off, me and my teammate talk smack to each other about it. The whole car is carbon, so right, unibody, but all the body panels are all carbon. So we get this car down to about 3,200 pounds with me in it. And from the factory, they're about 4,000.
Next year, all our cars will be this.
They will?
The Infinity cars are that way now.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
And next year, all the new, what do they call it? Gen 7, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That's going to be all plastic. Be all fiber. Which is good because the way it is now, if you run into the fence, or just scrape the fence running, then the metal goes in and don't come back. And then you got to stop and get a tire or whatever.
Yeah.
These dudes here, they just pop right back out.
It pops right out. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly just like that. Yeah.
A little bit of different style
It's going
seat.
to save a lot of sheet metal laying around on the racetrack.
Yeah. And a little different seat than what this is not quite the NASCAR seat, but it's a very high end seat. Yeah, I had a really bad crash about 5 years ago where in the nick of time I backed it in to the wall, and if I didn't have a halo, I would have been pretty bad news. So I'm very much want my horse blinders, as you called them. Like this, yeah.
Is that the brake?
That's the handbrake. Yep.
Does that just go to the rear?
Just to the rear. Yeah, so, when you rotate the car, so it just passes through the system.
So you can do either one?
Exactly. Yeah, or both at the same time if you need to. But that's a key in our sport for breaking flicking the car sideways. I mean, you can dump the clutch or you can just toss the weight, as you know, but that makes it happen immediately. I call it like the now button.
I spent all my career trying not to run sideways.
Yeah, I know you did.
And you spend your
trying to be sideways. Exactly.
So the sideways you are, the more you win.
Yeah.
Mine was the other way. If I was sideways less than anybody else, I could win.
You'd be faster. Right. Yep. No, I'm with that. And it's funny watching guys that come from that, trying to get them to drive it at the sideways limit because you're so programmed to keep it straight.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
But I used to run a car really free. In other words, it was between being tight and loose.
Okay.
In other words, I'd get it just as free as I could.
Yeah, because that's a fast car, right?
The freer it was, the better it was. Every once in a while, you go overboard, backing in the wall.
Sure. But that's a driver, right? I mean, not everybody can drive a free car, right?
Yeah, most of them drive off the front end.
Yeah.
I drove off the rear end.
Right.
Sort of like what you did.
Yep.
I just didn't go the extreme that
you
went to.
No, but you kept it slightly rotated in that perfect balance.
If I could, and this was before we knew anything about arrows, but it got more side bite because the car was hung out a little bit.
Right.
If you look at some of the old Plymouths and Dodges, some of the super speedways are running heavy stripes on the track, and you'll see the front left wheel on that thing, and the left rear will be hung out about that far. You know what I mean? It wasn't sideways. It didn't slow it down. It speeded it up because everything was free. It wasn't pushing against anything.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
But you'd actually be going down the track at a little teeny bit of yaw, right?
Straight down the racetrack.
Okay.
As quick as you turn the wheel, then the car.
It helped it rotate into the turn.
But we had the suspension fixed for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically, the way our cars were is when you threw it into the corner, then the rear steered a little bit in.
Got it. Just like a dirt track car.
Yeah, just steered
just
in.
a little bit, though.
And it didn't take me just a little bit.
Sure.
But it's the way we had our springs and stuff made.
Yeah.
And the shortness or the length of it was how quick he was able to.
Got it.
Sometimes you get too much.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you didn't have enough. But we had adjustment on where you could just, and anybody else talk to you, they won't know how you got so much side bite. That's how we got side bite.
Yeah.
Because the rear end went. And now they got the cars, the way they fix them, they want them to go the opposite. They want the right rear to go back. Or the left rear to go
forward a little bit.
So that the car gets sideways and they get more side bite. And that comes from engineering on aero deals and all
Sure.
that stuff. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I still think our idea was the best.
Yeah.
Because we've done it with suspension instead of check. They do it with the body, okay? And it's fine to do it with the body when you're running by yourself. But when you're racing with people, the airs are so screwed up, you don't get that. So
Interesting.
They
make the body to where the air gets to a certain spot.
Right.
But you're saying that can go away. It's inconsistent.
It goes away when you get in traffic, where suspension don't go
It's always
away.
there, yeah.
So,
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's all we're doing at the track. Like our cars unload, the front end barely never changes. All we're adjusting is forward bite and side bite. That's it for every event. If you don't have enough side, the car will want to over rotate. You have too much side, it'll want to straighten up.
And some of your tracks are more grippy than others.
Exactly. And then based
Some
on
of them are
temperature.
some of them are wore out, some
Yep.
of them are hot, some of them are cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
We run into the same thing.
Yeah, and we feel that with, you know, our tires are spinning roughly 20-30% more than the vehicle speed.
Okay.
But because the chassis are so dialed, we feel that. You know, we feel a pound of tire pressure.
See, well, our guys go quarter pound.
Really.
A quarter of a pound because cars are so stiff. You mean they got them where they don't, no suspension really
Yeah.
in them.
Yeah.
So the tire winds up being the suspension.
Oh, still to this day it
Still,
is?
yeah, that
Interesting.
And that just it wasn't that way in my day, but as things progress.
Oh, yeah, 'cause the cars are just dumped.
Right, the cars are just
Dumped as low as
Yeah,
possible, so the
yeah.
tires, it's a
so
spring
the-
rate.
So the tires wind up being spring rate.
Uh-huh.
So it's weird, but they do all that with deal with the technology and stuff they got and the computers and stuff.
Yeah.
They can figure all that crap out.
Yeah.
But like Dale told you, that stopwatch tells him
Yeah, yeah.
or tells me
Yeah.
it's better or it's worse.
Right.
Forget what the computer says.
Yeah.
Because all that computer stuff you got, all you got to have in there is one mistake.
Yeah, one wrong
One
number.
zero, one dot
Yeah, yeah.
in the wrong deal,
And
and
it's all
everything's
gone.
off.
Yeah.
And you don't know which one it is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a good way. Like, I feel like the simulation is a good way to get in the box,
Okay,
right?
that
But when
gives
you get to track, you still got work to do.
that gives you a place to start.
Right,
I mean, if I've never been to Atlanta,
right.
okay, I go on a computer and get a setup, and it might be the right setup, might not be, but it's a place to start.
Yeah.
So then you go stiffer or limber or change your weight, deal around in the car.
So basically, you go out. So there's a set course,
Right.
and on that course, there's markers, there's zones,
Yeah, I've
and there's
seen them, yeah,
clipping
yeah.
points. And so the clipping points, you basically have to get your nose as close as you can to them, and the zones, you basically have to run your rear bumper to. And so those clipping points and zones define the ideal line, the 100-point line. And then the subjective stuff is like how committed you are. Like, are you just kind of,
playing
halfway,
yeah.
or are you committed? Like, I know where I'm going. And so when you're running by yourself for qualifying, you're just kind of judged by yourself based on that line, commitment, things like that. But in real competition, there's two cars in each battle. It's like a dogfight with cars. So each car gets a chance to lead and each car gets a chance to follow. So the lead car's job is to run that perfect line while doing, having great commitment, carrying good momentum. And the chase car's job is to be on that lead car's door and show dominance, that you can follow his line, but be all over him with proximity. And then after you do that first run, then the cars switch. So now the lead car chases, you go back to the line, go again, lead car chases, and then the judges judge based on lead versus lead, chase versus chase, and whoever did the best out of the criteria.
Is there a time on that?
There's no time.
Okay.
Nope. So the easiest way to win is be the lead car and pull a gap
Yeah, I got you.
through the course.
So without running the guy.
Out, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it's like it shows that you're dominant, your car's faster. But more and more, it's really about not making mistakes and running the proper line. And at 100 miles an hour sideways, it's hard to put your car inches from these certain marks
That's all
consistently.
I'm not a golfer, but I watch golf and stuff. It's not the good shots that win. It's not making the bad shots.
Exactly. Right.
The bad shots lose.
Yep.
Good shots don't win.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a fair perspective.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's just observing. I never. My dad used to play golf. We used to work there in the red hill where all the trophies and stuff were.
Yep.
And that was our build-up shop. He'd get out in the front yard. He'd knock golf balls. Every once in a while, the window would break. He'd then hit the asphalt and it went right through. So we replaced a bunch of windows with him playing golf in the
For
front
golf,
yard.
right? That's funny. And so push rod motor. So this is a motor that was developed by Roush Yates.
Okay.
RY45 is 455 cubic inches. Is basically FR9 head, so the Ford Racing NASCAR heads on it.
Stuff.
Yep. And so we got obviously 8 stack on there, and then we run 300 horsepower worth of nitrous. That's basically on command, so it's always on. and based on where your throttle is.
Where it picks it up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Got a gauge deal. When it gets to here, it comes in.
Yep. It's all in the
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all managed. We got a brainiac around here somewhere, and his name is Ray, and we've just figured out a really good algorithm that works for us.
Yeah.
And you know, we want more. We tell it.
I guess different drivers are all different.
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Different drivers have different style.
It's the same thing with the race cars and stuff. When we run 2 cars from time to time, and from time to time I'd get in their car, they'd get in mine. You know, just to see what they thought they needed or what I thought I needed. And every time they get in my car, they'd go out pit road, make a lap and a half. Can't drive this car, it's too loose. And I'd drive my car like it was going to be too loose, and the thing would plow.
Be too tight
So
for
then,
you,
then
right?
I'd have to change the way I drove it.
Yeah.
And I could then run as good a speed as they did. But I had to learn to drive. They
Yeah.
couldn't
drive it.
Couldn't cope with that loose stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for someone to drive a tight car than a loose car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if
They
you're not
feel-
used to it.
They feel like they got more control.
Yeah.
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 And they have, really.
I think it's a commitment thing too, though. Like, you were comfortable. Did you
Yeah.
start on dirt?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
That's why you're comfortable with it being
Yeah,
weird,
I
little.
didn't mind it laid out.
No. Yeah.
As long as it didn't get around, that the wheels wouldn't cut right.
Yeah. I always
So like
wondered.
how many degrees do you turn the car?
65.
Okay, so it just
Yeah. I mean,
yes, I can believe it. Yeah, yeah. So the car almost.
I was
goes
wondering why they
sideways.
didn't do that for
Car almost
NASCARs.
goes sideways.
They should do that for NASCARs, and you get a little.
Well, we can't. We just not got enough room to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, with the big tires
with,
too.
With the way the motors are, and,
Yeah.
and I don't know about the new car because it's independent suspension front end.
Yeah.
Completely different front end than what we used to run.
Are you guys running a team with the new cars?
And what?
Are you running a team with the new cars?
No, the new cars don't start till next year.
Okay.
They start in 23.
Are you guys going to be doing that though? So yeah, man, these are our machines. Championship winning hot rods. You can see the crush panel up front.
Look like a race car.
Yeah, these guys out. My team is just an amazing group of people, man. You know the deal. Like it's all about who you have working with you. You know.
It takes a team.
Oh,
You just part of the team.
I'm just a rat behind the wheel, man.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
that's why
monkey. I
would-
like monkeys better.
You had to have somebody drive the car, and Dale Inman, the
Yeah.
crew chief, he said I was too lazy to work, so I drove the car.
Is that what he said?
He's probably not too far from the truth, too.
That's funny. But the driving is a fun reward. I enjoy the business all around though. I've been
What did you start with?
so
How did you get involved in it?
yeah, I was racing. Well, my whole life I was a car guy. Like my dad was a used car salesman and a hot rodder, and so he always had cool cars. And he used to take me to street races as a kid, and like I just always loved cars. So growing up as a teenager, I was doing skateboarding, BMX, racing motocross, and I used to just take a car that I had to the parking lots and do donuts and slide around and play. I didn't even know this sport called drifting, and then I found it and just fell in love with the culture and the scene, and started going to events and realized that just playing around in parking lots and motocross gave me really good car control,
Yeah.
and that's really what it was. And
That's what it's all about.
yeah,
Driving a race car, the same thing.
yeah, and I had, to me it was like skateboarding with a car, like showing
Yeah,
my
right,
style and
right.
personality, and it just, I always have had like an entrepreneurial mindset. Like I've always, I owned a detail business. I used to cut grass and hire my friends, and so this, motorsport and racing, you got to have that mindset to get it done, So I've always
It started with a garden and grew into a farm, right?
pretty much grew into this
That's
place.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
This is great, man.
yeah, it's crazy. Every time I walk in here, we've only been here since February, and so I'm just like pinching
Where
myself.
was you working out at before?
We were at, you remember old Hutch? What is it? Hutch Pagan. Remember Hutch
Oh,
Pagan?
yeah.
We had their old shop.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Skippy, by the way. Skippy is the king. I'm sure you know the king. You did used to work for him?
Yeah, at the driving experience. Used to run the fab shop there with Barry and
Oh, okay.
Rick and all those guys. Yeah, it was cool.
Skip's one of our lead mechanics, and he's been with us for a long time. So yeah, we had Hutch Pagan's old shop, and then this came available. Kenny said, you know, he wanted to move back to St. Louis, so we made it happen.
He ain't slowed down much.
Yeah.
He's something else.
Yeah, he keeps going, man. I think he's gonna go for forever.
You got a shoe inside there.
I do.
Good,
Oh,
sir.
thank you. I was like, I know the King don't have them cowboy boots untied.
That's the reason we're.
You don't got time. This is engineering. So this is where our engineering team is, and then this is fab shop.
What kind of tires do you use?
We use Nitto NT555s. These are old tires.
Are they hard tires? Or
No, they're soft. You know what? Let me see here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I got one here somewhere. So they're not super soft, but when they get hot, they soften up nice. We run the best tire in the series. They're Nittos, so they're street tires. As part of the rules of our series, you gotta run street tires.
Okay.
But
That's good.
yeah, we run single digit tire pressures. Except for when it's wet, we run a little bit higher tire pressure to keep the tire from moving around. But you can see, I mean, how much we roll over on the sidewall here. I mean, this will be gone. These are wets.
Are they radial?
Yeah, they're radials. Yep. Yep.
But I know when we first started with radial tires, they were so stiff. I mean, you
Compared to the bias plies you were
you
used
do
to.
one of these like this and you spin it.
Right.
But now they got them so flexible. You can't tell the difference between a bias tire and
Oh, really?
yeah. But it took Goodyear a long time to figure it out, but they got it going.
And then I do a lot of other stuff that's
This is Ray. He's our
How are you?
technical director.
good to meet you.
The King.
I like your hat.
Sure you know who he is. Oh yeah, by the way, I just want to point out the record. He's got 2 rattlesnake tails on his hat.
So we can hear you comment?
You know what them
So you
are?
can tell if he's pissed off or not. What are those? You can say it.
I can't.
Yeah.
Possum dicks.
Possum? Really?
Possum dicks?
That's amazing.
You're
What's the meaning?
Only mammal that's got a good bone for a dick.
Really?
Everything else goes blood.
Interesting.
Look how hot you are now. than you
I
was
know.
this
From
morning.
hanging out with you, I'm
Right.
telling you.
That's something you can really use. You know?
Yeah, I knew I was getting some wisdom. I knew I was getting some wisdom today. So this was my first Mustang. I'm saving it. I am saving this one. I won in 2005. I won the USA versus Japan in this car, and it was kind of like the shot heard around the world in drifting, because you know drifting
that's where it
started in
started,
Japan, and the Japanese
To
drivers.
begin with, that's all they had was foreign cars.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what I started with.
Okay.
And then my team and I bought this off a showroom floor, built it, and then I campaigned it, and that put me on the map as, you know, and started my relationship with the Mustang. Aaron, our ace fabricator. Aaron is the King. You might have seen him once or twice.
Oh yeah.
What's up, buddy? So this is what the cars look like when we get them.
That's why we used to get the
Right, that's the body in white.
Plymouths and stuff.
Yeah. So, you back then you got them just like this too, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whole body in white. Had the whole body on the thing.
Yeah.
Had to cut everything off and redo it. But
I really wish NASCAR was still doing that. I think they should have a class. Like they should have a stock car class. I think it'd be so fun to watch. I mean, I'm sure they're never going to go backwards again, but
they went backwards. They went to a dirt track. So to me, that's going backwards.
it was entertaining to watch,
We
though.
worked for 40 years to get away from that image. And then the first thing to do was put it back on the
Go back.
But it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something different. And in our sport, your sport, there's so much competition out there for that automatic
The
job.
spectacle.
You mean?
Yeah.
That you got to do something different Because if you're still doing the same thing, then you lose fan.
Yeah.
So you got to do something to gain fan.
Yeah.
And y'all got a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Our population is getting older.
Yeah.
So we got to do something for the new generation.
Yeah.
That's the reason all the computers and all that stuff on the car. I mean, you can sit in your living room now and follow the car, follow what the motor's doing, follow what the driver's doing.
Hear the radios.
Yeah, see everything.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah, it's that interactive experience,
And
right?
that's the new generation.
Yeah.
So we had to do it whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
That's the trend of that thing. And y'all have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You've got to keep improving the breed and make it a little bit different than it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. It's funny, we're talking about doing a dirt event in the future, taking the drift cars out in the dirt. They work the same. We set them up just like dirt track cars.
Yeah.
What's the fastest way to get around the track sideways? We set them up like a dirt track car.
See, the deal with the dirt now, the way they run it, and the way they pack it down, it's just like that cement.
It is?
So basically, I don't know if you watched the race on TV when they had it at Bristol, but it was muddy to begin with. It got mud everywhere. By the time the race was over, they were running the track exactly as if it was cement.
Really?
They wasn't running that sideways. They was going down. Cars were sticking, going on.
Yeah.
When we used to run, the tracks were just like, see how rough that is there. I mean, you had to dodge the holes.
Oh.
It was dirt. You mean?
Yeah, they weren't
Dirt.
maintaining it and building it like that.
But they finally learned to pack them down, calcium and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And to make them just, which, from a racetrack standpoint, it was cheaper to do that than it was fill in the holes, do all the plowing and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyhow, again, times change, man.
Yep, they do. Yeah, so we,
you don't
we
have
just
to-
cropped that. Yeah,
you
we
don't
just
have
put
to-
our, this is where our fuel cell and nitrous goes. This will just get a panel over it. Aaron, is this pretty much everything cut out of this right now?
No, the cell light bucket area, that all gets cut out.
Okay.
Saving that sheet metal to make jigs for factory.
Oh, okay, got it. So, yeah, buddy. Well, yeah, that's what we got going on over here, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's we're still moving in.
We're gonna have to get a lot bigger to need any more room.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I can't believe it. Like we're literally like, and we have a 10,000 square foot warehouse down there for all of our parts that we're shipping every day. But it's I can't believe we filled this place. Warren County. Seriously, thank you very much.
Man. Thank you, man.
It's been a
It's
pleasure
enjoyable.
to spend some time with you, and
Thanks for showing me around.
you're a big inspiration. I watched you as a kid, and it's just amazing to be able to spend the day with you. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
I'm glad you got to come. I'm glad I got to come see your stuff too. Okay.
Thank you.
That was very interesting to me.
Yeah.
I've never really followed it that much. Watch it on TV from time to time, but now I'll be watching a lot more because you didn't give me how to do it.
All right.
And like I told you before, I don't do it that way. Okay? Or didn't do it that way. Okay.
Well, if you ever
Sounds
want to
good.
come drive a car for some fun, we'll find a big lot for
You're
you.
gonna have like 20 or 30 acres or
Okay.
something for me. You know?
I'd love to. It'd be an absolute honor. John, thank you so much for putting this together, man.
I tell you what, it's been an honor having two legends come together in collaboration with Mala to build this ultimate car here. It's incredible. I can't wait to get this thing on the street. So I think we better get out of here and go show it off a little bit. So
Sounds good.
why don't we burn some tires?
Okay.
Let's do it. I'll take them for a ride.
Sounds great.
All right, my friend. Someone get that door, please. Dang, she sounds good.
Don't spin no wheels in here.
Don't make no marks on my floor.
Yeah, don't have to clean up the floor. So we don't need to do that. It's a great place here, man.
Thanks, man.
What do y'all run at? All over the world?
All over, yeah. Well, eight rounds in the U.S. Yeah, East Coast to West Coast.
What are you doing, man? What kind of big parking lots?
No, it's in road courses.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do ovals that have an infield.
Yeah.
So we usually run like turn 1 to 2, or we'll run 4 to 3, run backwards, drop in the oval, and then do something inside the oval.